Fox 2 presents Hancock and Kelley.
And good Sunday morning to you. Welcome to Hancock and Kelley on Fox 2, where we take on the top issues of the week. On the right, John Hancock.
Morning, everyone.
On the left, Michael Kelley.
Happy Sunday.
I'm Andy Banker. On the agenda this morning, Congress's Fight Club moment. A Republican U.S. Senator and the Teamsters President nearly come to blows during a Senate hearing. The St. Charles County Council considers a resolution to keep immigrants out. St. Louis's troubled former prosecutor, the Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner, is back in the news. Should she be allowed to run for Circuit Attorney again? And in our quote of the week, we're going to get to that one early this week. A Republican candidate for Missouri governor blasts the outgoing Republican governor, calling him too soft on Democrats. Also, Nikki Haley makes a big move in the polls. Did Joe Biden just endorse Gavin Newsom for president? And young Americans sympathetic with Osama bin Laden. But we begin with this from Republican Senator Markwayne Mullen, Teamsters President Sean O'Brien, and Senator Bernie Sanders.
Sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on. Oh, stop it.
Is that your solution, every poll?
No, sit down. Sit down. Okay. You know, you're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Oh, okay.
Sit down, please.
All right.
Can I respond?
Senator Mullen and the Teamsters President have been viciously attacking each other for months on social media. Things got physical among Republicans in the House as well, with Republican Tim Burchett of Tennessee accusing former Speaker Kevin McCarthy of elbowing him in the kidneys as McCarthy passed by Burchett while Burchett was talking to a reporter. Burchett is one of the 8 Republicans who orchestrated McCarthy's ouster as Speaker. What is with congressional Republicans, John Hancock?
I don't know, but I did learn that Markwayne Mullen is a United States Senator. How about Bernie Sanders breaking up a fight? There's something you don't see every day. Markwayne is a client of mine. I've known Markwayne for years.
Really?
Yeah, he's a tough old hombre. I wouldn't want to mess with him.
He's a MMA fighter,
yeah,
former,
a
right?
wrestler in college, and you wouldn't want to tangle with that guy. You get down there.
But what about this? I mean, shouldn't decorum prevail?
Well, the McCarthy
terrible
thing,
behavior.
I don't think McCarthy intentionally jabbed the guy. I mean, you know, if you've been in those hallways, they're very narrow, those corridors in Congress, and the guy's doing an interview, and I'm sure he brushed up against him. Markwayne and this fellow from the Teamsters have kind of had it for each other. Not a good look for Markwayne, but I wouldn't want to tangle with him.
Are we making is this a big deal at all, or is this just,
I don't know.
how politics rolls these days?
I would have paid to watch Bernie Sanders get up between those two guys, wouldn't you have? And Markwayne, does he not watch movies? Does he not know what the Teamsters are up to? I'd be afraid of picking a fight with the head of the Teamsters Union. Look, this is childish. This is ridiculous behavior, right? I mean, and it kind of is on brand with where the Republican Party is. This is a party that's just full of anger right now and not much policy. And I think it's bubbling over. Now, in that exchange, we saw it with an outsider, but most of the time it's Republican on Republican just grunting at each other and wanting to spar.
Yeah, you know, politics has become entertainment for a lot of people. And, you know, on a serious note, I would much rather see serious policy discussions happening in Washington, D.C., but our politics has become entertainment, and that's not necessarily good for the Republic.
Abraham Lincoln had a duel in St. Louis, right? About 20 years before he became president on Bloody Island, legend has it. And I mean, the other guy surrendered before, but I mean, aren't we historically?
Sure. Yeah, and we did used to shoot each other and have duels, and politics is a substitution for violence. But I don't think we've seen it where it's intra-party. And seems to be just the Republicans are just full of anger and not much policy and wanting to fight.
Well, on that note, Missouri's Republican Governor, Mike Parson, and Kansas Democrat Governor, Laura Kelly, are part of a new ad calling for more civility in politics with the hashtag #DisagreeBetter. Well, State Senator Bill Eigel of St. Charles County, who is running for governor, blasted Governor Parson for being nice to Democrats at a time when Eigel says Jeff City needs a reckoning. Our quote of the week is from Senator Eigel, who posted the governor's ad on social media saying, "This is why Republicans lose elections. Dems are destroying our cities, mutilating our kids, trampling our rights, and defunding our police." How about that, Michael Kelley?
Well, number one, Jefferson City's in peril. It is literally controlled by the Republican Party. The Democrats are irrelevant. I could drive them all up to the Capitol in my SUV. They're so irrelevant, the Democrats. And so, but this kind of speaks to what's going on in the Republican Party. It's all about anger, etc. You know, I'm not a big fan of Mike Parson, but the fact that he gets along with the Democratic governor from Kansas, I don't think is a bad thing. This guy's wrong on everything. I get along with him. I like him.
You're talking about Hancock.
Yeah, exactly.
John, is Eigel got a point here? Is this why Republicans lose elections?
Well, Mike Parson has never lost an election. He's run for sheriff. He's run for state representative. He's run for state senator. He's run for lieutenant governor. He's run for governor. He's never lost an election. Bill Eigel's been elected twice, and he's from a very Republican district. So, I mean, taking lectures from Bill Eigel about winning and losing elections is probably not something that would behoove us.
With St. Louis recruiting immigrants who are being shipped to Chicago from the southern border with Mexico, the St. Charles County Council is considering a resolution to take a stand against it.
We have issues here, and so you're going to have a bunch of illegal immigrants come to an already dysfunctional city, and then whenever that doesn't work out, the overflow is going to come to St. Charles County, and so it's just not a good idea.
The head of St. Louis's International Institute, which helps immigrants resettle here, told the council the immigrants in question are coming legally through a Biden administration program for people from Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela, and Haiti. St. Louis area employers need people to fill jobs here. Councilman Brazel points out that the legality of the Biden program is being challenged in court currently. John, is there legitimate concern here? Is this some form of racism?
Well, if you're bringing illegal immigrants here, that's not a good idea, but that's not what's happening. And look, the reality is the St. Louis population is shrinking, not just in the city, the entire region's population is shrinking, and immigrants are necessary. We've got jobs that can't be filled. So, yes, I agree. If the goal is to bring illegal immigrants here, that's a bad idea, but that's not what this is. This program is for folks that are here legally, placing them in St. Louis, employing them, and having productive members of our community.
Isn't there room for legitimate concern, though, when you see what's going on in the bigger cities like Chicago and New York? No place for these people to go, sleeping on sidewalks, living in filth. You know,
This is Joe Brazel. I know Joe. He's a little off. He's kind of his own little Marjorie Taylor Greene out there in St. Charles with his kind of ridiculous thought process. What he's trying to do is say this is all about the Biden administration and some illegal immigrants. That's not what it's about at all. It's the same process that allowed the Bosnians to come to St. Louis is what's happening here in St. Louis. We're dying as a region. We have to grow. I'm Irish. The Irish came here. The Italians came here. The Germans came here. Why can't Latin Americans come here? They're coming legally, and this type of bigotry coming from our second biggest county in the state is really disappointing.
Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey has released a scathing report on ousted St. Louis City prosecutor, the former circuit attorney Kim Gardner. Bailey filed a quo warranto suit to remove Gardner from office. She resigned under mounting pressure and mounting evidence of widespread dysfunction in office, resulting in thousands of criminals not being prosecuted, including accused killers. The report urges state lawmakers to bar elected officials like Gardner from running for office again if they are removed from office or resign on their own during a quo warranto lawsuit. Michael, should Gardner be allowed to run for circuit attorney again?
Sure. Sure, she should be allowed. Why the voters would send her back is beyond me, but I encourage people to read this report. The Attorney General does an incredible job laying out the ridiculous amount of dismissals that the Gardner administration, when they were in charge of the prosecutory, allowed to happen. And the reality is people need to pay attention to this because she likely could get elected again. This reminds me a lot of our own little version of Donald Trump here in the city of St. Louis, that Democrats might choose this person to be the prosecutor again.
She's gone. Is this just piling on by Attorney General Bailey?
I mean, the Attorney General's right. I mean, he nailed it. The report is good. I do have a concern about these one-off, you can't run for office, you can't run for office. You know, you can't have a system, a situation where the government is deciding who can and cannot run for office. Now, if somebody is kicked out of office, okay, that's fine. That wasn't the case here. She resigned. And as much as I would like to see her not run, I think it would be a mistake to legally tell her she can't.
Up next, the massive but peaceful pro-Israel protests in the nation's capital and young Americans sympathizing with Osama bin Laden 22 years after he orchestrated the deaths of nearly 3,000 Americans in the 9/11 attacks.